Table for two, table for two. Having fun, playing games, just me and you.
Hey, it's Jane.
And Phil.
From the Table for Two show. Hope you're all doing well, and I'm hoping you're liking our new format. Everybody made some really nice comments last week, so we really appreciate those. And we, of course, got a couple of comments that were similar. Where's the booze? Where's the booze?
Where's the drink of choice?
So we said, you know what? Good point. Even if it's a short video, here's the booze.
All right. Ooh, it smells good.
Tastes good, too. Today we're drinking, for those of you who want to know. It's a Spanish wine. It's a Garnacha blend, red blend, called Buscado, or it's actually the winery's Buscado in Spain. So this is a 2014 bottle, but it's good for 6 years, so we're basically opening it right about the right time. It's delish. So go get some.
Good.
Go get some. Today we're actually going to look at two games. Yeah, we're not trying to skip a week or anything like that. But we've heard about these two games for a very long time. They've been out a while. We just never picked them up. But we kept hearing there were similarities between the two games. And normally if we hear a game is similar to something that we have, we're not going to go buy it. Well, sometimes, but not usually, because we already have a game similar to that game. But in this case, we thought we never played either one of these games, so let's try both of them, and let's tell you what we think about them, and if we think they are similar or not, and maybe if we like one better or not. So that's the goal today. So the first game we're going to take a look at, or both games, is actually Azul is one of them, and I know a lot of you know this game.
And the second one is Sagrada.
Sagrada. So they're similar. I mean, just the boxes alone, just comparison, both of them are really pretty boxes. So if we want to compare the boxes, I think they're both equally as beautiful. Where there is a major similarity is the fact that there are a draft and a placement game. You're drafting and placing, and that's pretty much the main similarity, just to be fair. So the first thing is, for both of these games, down below, we will have links to mini reviews for both of these games, so you can kind of see a playthrough for both. Again, that's that picture playthrough that we're doing now. I'll also post the video about if you don't have a Facebook account, don't worry, you don't have to have a Facebook account. So I'll post that video again down below, just in case you're thinking, oh, I don't have Facebook, I can't see the reviews. You can. So just take a look at that video. So what we'll do in this video, though, is we're going to compare the components, and then we'll talk a little bit about the game, and then, again, decide which one we might have liked a little bit better. So the first thing is the play board. Each player gets a player board, or play board, and the top of the board is your scoring track. So guess what? To win this game, you have to have the best score. Surprise, victory points, whatever you want to call them. Every game is pretty much like that, but that's, the scoreboard there at the top. Then you're going to see this beautiful 5x5 grid. This grid is where you're going to place the drafted tiles that you're going to collect during the game. And as you're placing and drafting them, and you'll see there's like all different types of tiles on here, you're matching them to what's on the board, you get points. Or down here below, you don't get points, you get negative points, which take points away. So you'll see all of that and how it's played in the playthrough. But you do get a player board, and that's what you use for your game. There is another side to the player board that has the same 5x5 grid with no tiles. The only difference on this version of the game is you're not actually placing it based on what's on the actual, board here.
Yeah.
It's a little bit harder, but not much, but really same game, same rules, just to be fair.
So with Sagrada, the player board is this stained glass window.
Which I think is very pretty.
Yeah. So there's a 4x5 grid where you're actually putting in pieces of, glass of the stained glass window to get your victory points.
Right.
There's one difference
Big
in
difference.
that this card comes out.
And that card is basically your placement, kind of like Azul had the tiles to show you where to place it. That's the placement card of where you should place, in this case, the stained glass, or you'll see in a minute the dice.
Right, and there are different difficulty levels too. There's like this one has 3 dots, this one has 5. So there's different levels of cards which have more things on them that you have to comply by.
So there's
in
your
order to
big difference right there. Azul, every time you play it, you're going to know how to play it. It's going to be the same board, or this board, but it's the same board every time. Sagrada, there's your first big difference. You have lots of these different cards you can choose from at different levels, so that way it's different every time. So that to me is a big difference. Both games are good though, don't get us wrong, but that's one difference. Now in Azul, what you're actually drafting and placing are these beautiful, they're really pretty, little square tiles, and they match the tiles that are on the board, just as a reminder again. And they're very lightweight. Again, there's a bunch of them in a bag that comes with the game, and you're basically just drafting from these tiles, and that's where you're getting them from. A little bit different in Sagrada, though.
Yes, so with Sagrada, you're drafting dice. You can see
Very
the
pretty, colorful dice.
5, if I get it up high enough here, you can see 5 different colored dice. And you're going to be putting those onto the board in order to fill out your stained glass window.
And the big difference there, though, is on this, you'll actually see there's numbers. So, like, for example, I only could put a 4 on here, or a purple die, or a green die. And there's white spaces where you can put any die. But there are really strict placement rules in this game, just so you are aware. And we'll talk about that. Actually, I'll show that in our mini review. But again, big differences there. Again, it's this says exactly where to place it. This changes every single time, which is kind of neat. Now, the only other component of Azul are these lovely wine coasters. Just kidding. But look, it does fit.
Yeah, it does.
There's a bunch of these, but for a 2-player game, you use 5 of these. These are actually the factories where the tiles are made. That's the whole thing there. The tiles are made in the factories, and there's 5 factories. So you're drafting, at the beginning of every round, you put 4 tiles, or but you put the tiles on the little factories. You'll see it in the playthrough. But the idea is that that's where you're pulling your tiles from. That's where you're drafting them from. So where it's a little bit different with the dice, they just go in a big bag, and you roll 5 each time.
Right.
So that's basically it. But that's it for components for Azul. 3 things. This, tiles, and factories. That's all you get in Azul. What else do you get though in
So the
in
additional
Sagrada?
component you get with Sagrada are cards. And you're going to see like the first set of cards, there's actually 3 of these laid out on the table at a time. These are tools. And each player also gets these favor tokens. You use favor tokens to pay for tools. And basically what they do is they affect the rules that you have to use to place. They help you with placing dice, maybe in a place that you wouldn't normally put them.
Example, you might have a red die with a 4 and you need a 3. You can have a tool that says roll the die and re-roll it, as an example.
So you got the 3 tool cards. There are also 3 public objective cards that are laid on the table. And these are actually what you're going to target for scoring.
You're trying to target.
Right.
That's the
so
hard
like
part.
this one has a number on it. You see a 2. So basically you have to match up. You have to match that up in order to score off of your board. And you're trying to match as many of those as possible.
So basically, they're the components that decide how you're scoring at the end of the game.
Right. And all players are using those same components. The third one is a secret card. It's the private objective. And you just see a single color here, green. So if I had this card, I'm trying to get as many green dice onto my window at a time. So throughout the game, that's an additional way I could score.
Yeah.
And somebody else would have other colors, obviously.
Because at the end of the game, you actually get the total number of the dice that are, in this case, green.
Yes.
So if you have a bunch of dice, like I have a 4, a 2, and a 3 here, so that's going to be an extra score of 9 points.
Right.
So the idea is you're actually adding them up at the end of the game. But that's secret. Nobody knows what you're looking for.
Yes.
In that case. So it's a little different there. So so again, here we're like, okay, placing tiles. Here we're like, hey, we have objectives we have to meet.
Yeah.
And trying to get 2s or 1s or colors or whatever it may be. So there's a little more thought process to what you're doing. I mean, this has thought too, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more going, I think.
A little more. And both, I think both games have a strategy where if you see the other person needs a certain tile, like, ooh, maybe I'll draft those, even though I don't need them as much. And of course, the same thing can happen with Sagrada. Like, oh, I think they might have yellow. I'm going to grab some yellows. So,
Exactly.
Same thing.
Yep. So basically, they both play similar in the fact that they're draft in place. But again, tiles versus dice. I think very pretty, by the way, dice.
Yes.
Different challenges depending how you play the game each time with Sagrada. Same challenge pretty much every time with Azul. So I'm not, bashing Azul. I'm just saying there's a big difference there. And then, of course, you have more cards and different options with Sagrada where, again, not so much with Azul. But again, both very good games.
Yep.
But honestly, we play them both.
Yep. They're both pretty easy to learn.
Very easy to learn. Again, you see all that below. But at the end of the day, I think Sagrada is our favorite.
Yeah, I like it. I like the how it changes a little bit each time.
Yeah, so if you're going to pick one to buy, that would be my suggestion is Sagrada. Again, Azul has had a very big popularity in the market. I mean, remember two Gen Cons ago, all you heard, Azul, you got Azul. And Azul actually has another version of Azul. I think it's also called Stained Glass, kind of similar to Sagrada. We went with the original Azul for the play-by here. So anyway, take a look below. We have both links below so you can see the play-by-play with the picture review, the mini review below. Other than that, we hope you enjoyed this video.
Yeah, we are kind of curious what you think too. Like, if you
that's
have
a good
both
point.
games especially, let us know what you think.
Yeah, actually, let's make that official. on the bottom here on the comments, write down what you think. If you've played both of them, or even if you love just one of them, say, which one you like better, Sagrada or Azul. Let's make that a little bit of a,
Yeah.
we can kind of total it up at the end. Anyway, thanks for watching us once again. Cheers, and thank you for the reminder. Have a good night. Or day, or, well, better not be day if you're drinking.